7 días, 7 días, 7 días, 7 días en la semana.
It was really amazing. I'm so glad I did it.
I think it's just fun to speak.
This is something great that I got and that I can just keep forever.
You can connect with people.
The immersion experience is a very exciting experience, and I can tell you from experience, I was an immersion student.
You just need to commit to knowing that you need to practice it to be able to learn it and keep up.
Really, day to day, probably no different than if your child was not in immersion. They have a day typical, like any other child's, except that everything is in another language.
Language immersion is just highly interactive, highly challenging, and it's fun for kids.
Children receive 100% of their academic instruction in the target language of Spanish or Mandarin Chinese, and their specials, whether they be PE, art, music, or media, are in English.
Párense para cantar.
When your child walks in to their kindergarten room, they will get to hear everything in Spanish. And it's very exciting because the alphabet, the numbers, the greetings.
First grade, children are producing the language. In kindergarten, children are understanding the language. We usually not only say the words, we act the words. We bring things for the kids to understand.
Immersion teachers use their interactive whiteboard, our smartboard technology, how they use real objects, how they present challenges to kids in that target language. And what I enjoy about watching an immersion classroom is when kids initially struggle, when they're being really challenged with a concept, and when they break through it, and that joy of learning that happens when they break through something that they've been struggling with.
I get a lot of how is their Spanish, and what I say to the parent is I'll have different responses. Some of the kids are going to speak the language at a higher proficiency, some are going to speak it at a lower proficiency, but they all understand. It's my job to pull out the constructive language learning opportunities to get him or her to another level.
The second question that the parents ask is, can I help my child?
Things that really need the teacher's assistance aren't sent home. Those are done at school.
So it was very easy to help our child with homework because their teachers were putting all of their homework in English online. So we would have a little cheat sheet.
So my mom helped me and she tried to figure out the key words or the key letters or parts of a word, and we'd figure it out together.
So maybe if you're an immersion parent, by the end of your child's experience in elementary school, you'll end up learning some Spanish too.
From the very beginning, all homework is available, translated on the school website into English as well.
We use the same curriculum, so it's easy to access the English version if you need that as a support.
I'm a third grade teacher, so I get them at a great point in their language acquisition because they understand what I say and they speak only in Spanish.
I teach 5th grade, so by the time they get to 5th grade, the students have developed a pretty solid base of Spanish. They are proficient.
¿Me puedes levantar? No.
We are having deep discussions. Really big ideas in a foreign language, and I think the kids really see the power of being bilingual.
It feels good to know that you can do something like that, because now you know what you're doing.
Parents choosing the Minnetonka immersion model need to realize and appreciate the fact that they're making a decision that creates a 12-year-long map for their child. The middle school immersion model is the next step in the immersion experience for our students, and it's part of our bigger commitment to an immersed language experience for these students all the way through 12th grade.
An essential block of about 85 minutes where the students work between social studies and language arts or grammar.
Students are getting that immersion experience and that continued growth and proficiency, and at the same time they're having access to the menu of honors and accelerated classes.
The program now has the confidence of our community, and that's based on the student learning data. Our third grade Spanish immersion students are performing better than 90% of the schools in Minnesota on our state MCA math assessment. Historically, grades 3, 4, and 5 Spanish immersion students have outperformed 95 to 98% of the schools in Minnesota on the state reading assessment. And this is with third grade being the first year students have received English language instruction.
Parents will ask, do I need to begin my child in immersion at the kindergarten level? And the answer is yes. We need you to start in kindergarten. In fact, it's the only time we allow students to begin. And it's a K-5 experience, so we do ask for your commitment in order for it to be effective.
It's a very popular choice, but it isn't for everyone. And we want to be very open and comfortable about describing that. Because in a school within a school model, if for some reason a child needs to make a change from one language to the other, we can do that quite seamlessly.
These students, by the time they graduate in 12th grade, are going to be highly proficient, and they're going to have a skill set serve them well as they move on at college and in life.
We saw it as a big opportunity to give them something we don't have and that they can take with them the rest of their lives.
It is an amazing experience.
You get to live what it's like to be a global citizen.